Hello and welcome along to a very special episode and a brand new season from this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 28 of the Tudor Times today, and remarkably, 2 years ahead of my own planned schedule, we are back for a League 2 transfer special. If you don't know why, you want to click up in the eye above to catch up with the playlist so far. There's a link to the head coach there too, which has been brilliant fun so far this year. And I find it both ironic and a little bit poetic, putting real life in with FM, that we're playing EFL at Stockport County in our first League 2 match. A side that obviously were National League with us. They got promoted in our first season in that division. And EFL, of course, are now managing Bolton in real life, who got battered at Stockport in the FA Cup in a classic tie just a week or so ago. But we are here with Hemel Hempstead Town. We have got a lot to get through in a transfer market. And of course, we've got a big game to play as well. So if you're looking forward to that, our preparations for League 2, our turn professional, and of course, our move to Kenilworth Road, which we announced in the season review, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. The head coach will be back tomorrow, this one in 2 days' time. And there's links to all the playlists, the Twitch channel, and the football podcast up there in the eye above. But let's start with transfers, because we have turned professional and we have got an awful lot to get through. We start with transfers on the staffing front, and it's something I wanted to point out because I often get asked about going professional, what are the most important things to do, or I see videos from other people where they've gone professional and maybe it's not quite worked out. And they often talk about getting players tied down to pro deals very quickly. Well, what about staff? Because if you don't have staff tied down to full-time contracts, it doesn't matter what you're doing with the players, because quite frankly, your staff aren't going to be there to support them. And if you haven't got your staff there to coach the players, you haven't got your scouts going out looking for players, and it doesn't matter what you're doing with the players, because there's going to be no one there to help them other than you. So as soon as we went professional, we got a full-time contract on $1,200 a week, which was a nice little upgrade for us. There's one that wouldn't sign a full-time deal yet, which is the under-18 manager, Lewis Williams. But everybody else is tied down and we've expanded the team. So Danny Elliott, I think someone we've had before in one of our saves. He is a coach that has come in £450 a week, excellent mentally, decent judgment, and very good in terms of technical and defensive coaching, which is going to be the backbone of our success this year. Sorry if you were expecting entertainment. Tony Grant is another that's joined the club, and we were quite fortunate actually that a lot of our coaches were already on non-contract terms rather than part-time deals, so it was much easier to replace them. A tactical coach this time rather than the technical one, and very good in terms of discipline and the mental side of the game again. Matty Spring stays as our trusted assistant manager. We've not been able to do as much as we wanted at times off the pitch just yet, but we have improved the scouting team as well. So Richard Wilkins now on a permanent deal. He is 13 for judging ability, 11 for potential, but he's got a contract to go and scout all the time. Just a few left on the sort of month-to-month deals. We're trying to replace the chief scout and the fitness and goalkeeping coaches, but you can see the bulk of it's there and already done. Crucially, the director of football, head of youth development and head performance analyst all tied down too, as well as most of the medical staff. Just keeps us in a position where we've got people working round the clock, and this training ground will be full of coaches and staff as well as just players. But with that, we've got to move on to the players. It's the bit you'll all be interested in. The finance is looking healthy. The wage budget hasn't actually gone up much from the board, so I think they're probably expecting us to come down again. And that little consortium takeover that was mentioned in the season review, literally nothing's happened since. Very bizarre. And we've had some drama and almost deals in terms of going out of the club in recent weeks, which we'll talk about too as we go along. But let's start with the players who have been released and are sold from the club, those heroes that are not going to be a part of this football team moving forward. And we start with the released players, which largely are youth team members, people who haven't quite made the grade, but there are 2 at the top who we owe a lot to. James Dobson was a superstar in the first year and an able deputy in the second and third. He was a wonderful winger, he was tall, he scored headers at the back post. And to be fair, if you look at that first season, 8 goals and 12 assists. To be fair, he had a pretty big impact the first year we came up as well. That momentum carried us through, but he wasn't the same player in the National League, and he was declining very quickly. The other one, unfortunately, kiboshed by injury, Marsh Brown, was such a key player for us. Scored at the rate of 1 in 4, and he has just declined too much. He's out for another few weeks with a broken leg, actually back very quick from that. But if we look at him, he stepped up to this level and played really well. He did good in the National League South, and in the National League, arguably this season was his best one. But he got injured in the run-in just as he was starting to score goals and look a frequent threat. And unfortunately, as a result, Marsh Brown is out, and I'm sure it'll drop back down to National League North and South level. So such a shame for him, but another one we'll keep our eyes on in the future because he did so well for us and he deserves a mention. As well as released players, we also had a couple that left the club. You saw Ryan Joseph come in the end of season review, but we haven't met him just yet. There's also a second signing there early in pre-season. But Aaron Simpson, the right back, leaves the club. He was out of contract the end of last season. Look, he's not a League Two footballer, even as a backup. So Gloucester, a very good move for him. But another one that was crucial to that first season success, solid enough the second season, but just wasn't a National League player. And in the end, he didn't really feature much last year. So another one that was crucial to that first promotion in the first season, and all three of them, in fact, were key players there. But let's move on to this season, because another one left, and it was the backup keeper, Jacob Marsden. We mentioned about the risk of having a backup keeper on non-contract terms. I don't actually think Marsden ever played a game for us. Certainly not in the league, but did he play in any other competition? He didn't, so over 2 seasons without featuring for him, he goes off to Queen's Park. But do you know what? He was there in case, and he was a solid keeper, so no problems with him whatsoever. We wish him the best for his career. It's not a massive deal in terms of outs. We talked about it in the end of season review. We didn't want to just go gung-ho and change 10, 15 players. I want the same policy as when we went up from the National League South to the National League a few years ago. It's just to try and keep a solid squad and settled for 1 year, stay up, take the momentum with us, and then go big the second season. So on that front, we have got just 5 or 6 signings to introduce. Ryan Joseph is the first of them. He came in from Tottenham as a left winger, was pre-agreed before the playoffs even started. He is excellent. A replacement for James Dobson, a Trinidad and Tobago international at 18 years of age. Not the best crosser of the ball, but look at the stats. 6'3", good in the air, great jumping reach, excellent physically, and good dribbler, decent finisher, strong mentally for his age too. He's actually someone who could deputise as a target man, but more so that front post threat from set pieces, that back post threat from crosses into the box in open play. He's training well, he's now signed a permanent full-time deal as well, and he's got a fairly professional personality. He's basically the perfect signing for what we want to achieve. The second one that came in early in the window was Thomas McHale. He is the new backup goalkeeper. He's on non-contract terms, he's 28 years of age. He's nothing worth singing and dancing about, but he's solid, he's a decent number 2. And if we do need to call on him, he's got non-league experience with Weymouth, with Truro, and in Scotland with Elgin. He's just a decent keeper, and that's all we need behind the star that is David Gregory. On to this season, we've got 4 more. A lot of experience, and a former £15 million man at England Youth International. Jordan Ibe has joined this football club to replace Marsh Brown. A bit of a risk in terms of injuries because he's not the fittest, he's not got the best stamina, and he is a little injury prone. But we can't turn that down. It's a massive name for us. On £275 a week. Hasn't yet signed the full-time deal though, so we might have to wait a few weeks for that. Quite good pace still, decent on the ball, and mentally he's okay in the key areas, so I've got no problem with him. I'm a little worried that he cuts inside from the wing, and of course he's not the best in the air. But it's an opportunity I didn't feel we could turn down. Commercially, someone that would get us talking about Hemel Hempstead, and a player that, 8 years ago, went to Bournemouth from Liverpool for 15 million, played regularly in the Premier League, played for Derby in the Championship. He's got great experience, and he's someone who, if he's trained well, could be a solid acquisition for us. The next one is, I think, the first player we've ever paid money for. Let me just check that. It is Teddy Davie from Farnborough. Now, we've had success from this route before, promoting players from the lower leagues. Michael Fernandez was one who came in from Farnborough on the right wing, and Teddy Davie is the next. Now, the plan was he was going to be the replacement for Oliver Turner, who was subject of a very big bid, 3rd time I've tried to get that right, from a couple of clubs in EFL and the Scottish Premiership. However, he eventually stayed, which has caused a slight dilemma. Still a very good addition though, little bit poorer mentally, but we can't turn this down. 21 years of age, £300 a week, and as good as anything we've got at the club already. An excellent player, a brilliant addition, and surely one that will improve at the club. That's all we can ask for. 81 appearances, so a little different to the ones like Ryan Joseph, who haven't really played senior football. They've dropped down from a youth team. We've then got hungry players who have come up from non-league as well, so it's a nice little balance there. £9,000, 3.5-star ability, really good addition. The next one is a very experienced man, Jake Caprice, formerly a fullback of Tranmere Rovers, has played for the likes of Exeter and Wigan in this save as well. Last season was at Woking. We couldn't really find a replacement for Aaron Simpson because we're happy at right back with what we've got in Elliot Hewitt, and it is an experienced position, so we wouldn't have minded a second young backup, but there wasn't one about that was worth having, so this is the guy we've gone for instead. 3-star ability, can play right back, left back, right midfield, really versatile, good going forward, crossing the ball too. He's an excellent player. A favourite of one of my co-presenters on the podcast, and I'm sure they'll be down in the comments when they see this, but just a solid all-rounder, a player with plenty of EFL experience. We had it with Harrison, we've mentioned it again here. I think it's the sort of deal we've got to be doing. Having players that have got experience at a football league can only be a positive, as long as they're not holding the squad back and taking too much money. Jake Caprice is doing neither of those things. And the final one, just a week or two before the season, you can probably guess it, is to fill the other fullback void. Andre Brooks is a 21-year-old on £400 a week, very much the opposite end of the scale. A youth player from Sheffield United, never made it, and never got football. But he's fit, he's good mentally, he's versatile, he can play left back, left mid and centre mid, and he's very good at all three positions. He's actually rated better than our current players in those areas. So he's rated as the best centre midfielder at the club, and he's rated as the best left back at the club. For now, we're going to try and keep the squad quite settled, but long term, I can see him being a key part of the plans. And another one, as you can see from the top of the screen, whose value could be crucial come the end as well. We're at the stage where we want to try and build players, improve them, sell them on for big money, and then improve our own facilities at the same time. So fingers crossed, he'll be a step on the road to that. So certainly not the biggest transfer window in the world, but I feel that we've filled all of the voids we needed to. We've improved the squad, and we've got a blend of youth and experience. So I'm really happy with where we are. We've got to talk quickly about Oliver Turner because he was due to leave the club. In the end, he rejected Dundee United and Bolton for £140,000. You can see that's why he's got a set value now. So I thought we were going to make 140 grand on him, bring in Davey to the same position for 9, and all looked very good. But now, we've arguably got a slight overload in the middle because we've got all 4 from last year plus Davey. But in League 2, with the EFL trophy, with the likes of the League Cup as well, might not be a bad thing. I am going to throw those 2 trophies and play our backups in all of them. But you can see, we've actually got a pretty solid squad. There's not really a defined backup team. There's a lot of players that perhaps aren't quite as good as the ones that have come in to maybe long-term replace them. But in the short term, we've got a very good team and we've got a lot of momentum behind us. The way last season finished, the dynamics look excellent. And because we haven't changed much of the squad, we haven't changed much tactically, we start the season with good cohesion, a good club atmosphere. Oliver Turner wants to go to a bigger club, but we've accepted offers. And he's just chosen not to so far. So maybe he's waiting for a certain team, but we're doing everything we can to help out. And I would be happy to sell him if the right move comes. Because look at him. He's not a great deal better than Davey. He's just excellent on the ball. So the squad is in a good place. We're in a good place. We start the season against Stockport. Let's see, before we get into it, where the media expect us to finish now. The season preview is 24th place. We've got Barrow, Oldham and Solihull Moors and Scunthorpe all on 50-1 just above us. And then 33-1 is Stockport, today's opponents. So it's fair to say we are the favourites to go down. But that's because our players don't have a reputation. They don't have pedigree. What I think is that they're going to improve really quickly when they get football and now professional training. I've just seen Nathan Jones, the former Luton manager, has rocked up at Port Vale, who are expected to be near the bottom of League 2. Bit of a fall from grace from him. And Emma Hayes popping up at Stevenage. That's an interesting one. But let's go and get into it. First game of the season. Nothing is changing tactically. I've just got to pick a team. And it's going to be as similar as possible to last season. So let me go and introduce you to our first EFL starting 11. Lots of new faces on the bench. Lots of new faces that will be involved against Plymouth in the Cup in midweek. But none, bar Jordan Ibe, will start this game. So after the end to last season, we've got David Gregory between the sticks. He's the number 1 regardless. Hewitt and Carson are fullbacks with Capecqua and Harbottle as centre-half. I am interested to see how the likes of Senga and Harbottle improve this year. They've got some of the biggest potential at the club, but they've never trained professionally before, so it could be a breakthrough season for them. I'm sticking with Dylan Barker's in the holding role because he's a class act in the playoffs. He's a big man, he's tall, he's a threat from set pieces, and he's good defending them too, which will help us out. We've got Brunt and Turner in the middle. We'll make the most of Turner while he's still here. Ibe does start on the right. I thought about Harrison, but he's now our backup striker, so he's going to have to play in midweek. And then Aguas over on the left, Sedende up front. Of course he's going to get his chance at EFL level. The usual problem early in the season with fitness, because we've got a slightly bigger squad this year. We finished late for the playoffs, so we're back late for the start of the season. And you've got to factor in we've had a ton of trialists too. So it's not been the best perfect preparation for us, but it's a good squad. It's the same tactic. I'm thinking we might drop to a balanced mentality. I want to start the season and get a marker for where we are. After that, we'll then make a decision. Few new players on the bench. In fact, all of them bar Harrison, Davis and Bandera are. So potentially, any 4 players could make their debut off the bench. But for now, it's Stockport v Hemel Hempstead. It's our EFL debut. It is an unbelievable start for Season 4. Fingers crossed, we can take that momentum from last year with us. Well, it's a good Stockport team, to be fair. Whatever you think of the manager. They've got pace in the likes of Jermaine Hilton. They've got quality in terms of target man play in likes of Quigley. They've got good players in Rydell and Original. Carl Cameron's in there. Southern Hales, a bit like a Duracell bunny. But let's go and get into the first game of the season. We're going to try and shock them on the front foot first. If it doesn't work out after they've matched us up, then we'll drop to balanced. As of course, it's raining in the English summer. Sedende works his way down the left from Aguas. Can we get up early on? Not many in support. Turner back to Aguas. Oh, he's nearly scored a screamer. That would have been the perfect start. 2 minutes gone. We've already rattled their woodwork. But unfortunately, it's still goalless. That, though, the first real attempt on goal. Well, there's not been much to shout about at the start, really. Maybe keeping it tight is a good thing. A Sedende! Oh, my words. I don't know what's going on here. We don't normally ask the players to shoot from distance. In fact, if we go to the instructions, we don't have anything on in that regard, and we've not seen it before. Maybe it's just because we're struggling to get higher up the pitch. That's what they're going for. But at the moment, it's been a very even game, and not a lot of chances for either side. Half an hour gone, though. We'll take that on the road. As Rydell's got a throw into Whitfield. The worry is if their extra class and fitness shows. As Barkers picks it up in the middle to Hewitt. Back to Harbottle, the centre half. Into midfield again. Barker's playing in there. He's got that presence and gets it wide to Jordan Ibe. He's got a chance to have his first run at the fullback. It's intercepted pretty tamely in truth. Long ball downfield to Whitfield. Can Hewitt hold him up? He can't. He's been absolutely skinned there. Does get back and force him backwards though. Plays a 1-2. Whitfield again. Up to Quigley. Through to Hilton. And Gregory makes a brilliant stop down to his left. It's point blank range. It's right in the corner. And he tips it wide for a corner kick. Southern Hales delivers. Cameron loses out in the air to Barkers. We talked about that. Whitfield down the right wing to Southern Hales. They get the ball in the box again. We've got to defend the second one too. Southern Hales is a great block. Brunt heads away. We're clinging on for dear life. But we're doing enough. And it's 0-0 with 10 to half time. Well, last minute before the break. And we've got a free kick 25 yards out. It's going to be taken by Oliver Turner. Can he deliver the magic? Oh, what a save. The keeper ends up in the net, but he somehow keeps the ball out. At the break, it's 0-0. Turner nearly delivered some gold dust. And we're going to tell the lads to keep it up because against a side away from home who have had a season in the league, that's an incredibly good effort. And we're still on top down the right wing with Hewitt. We're just edging this game. I plays a 1-2 with him. Back to Oliver Turner. Brunt to Turner again. Oliver Turner from the edge. I tell you what, I know we're happy to sell him because he is a star player. And if we can get 150, 200 grand, we can't turn it down. As Martin's in at the other end, that's got to be offside. The flag is up. He was miles off. It's a good defensive line from the set piece. But we will miss Oliver Turner if and when he goes because he's got such class on the ball. But we just can't afford to not take the money at the minute. As Southern Hales throws in from the right. Stockport really starting to push forward now and test us. Pybus gets it left to Rydell. He's got 3 in the middle if he can cross. Hewitt's beaten and he's forced back to Pybus again. Into Rydell to the back post to Hilton. He gets it on the right hand side. So it goes over his head. Southern Hales releases him again to in the middle. He's getting close down, but not quick enough. Southern Hales to Whitfield. Brilliant block from Hewitt. Whitfield in again. Brilliant block again. Kopekwa in this time, and it's cleared away. We're going to drop to balance for 10 because Stockport are just throwing everything forward. Carson gives it to Aguas though. We've got a throw in at the other end. Aguas delivers. Up goes Rydell. He beats Jordan Ibe. We just missed that height on the right as Capecqua out to the left wing. Carson gets it in early. Sedende's up. Can't quite get there. It's back to Barnes, the keeper. He hoofs long downfield. Capecqua deals with it. He stepped up to the National League easily. Can he step up to this level too? Aguas to Turner, to Barkas. Turner currently the difference maker. Brunt releases Sedende though. He's in again. Victor Sedende. Oh, he's tried to dink the keeper from there. It's so arrogant. And I love it. He almost scores. It's 1-0. But now we're defending a corner. Whitfield into the back post. Cameron with a free header. Hewitt off the line. As far as Hilton beats his man down the left side. It's a wonderful game of football. Back to Whitfield. Blocked again by Capecqua. And it's out for another corner. I'm going to replace Aguas with Joseph because he looks knackered. He's not playing well. And Joseph 6'3". Easy as that. Just under 20 minutes to go. Carson looking tired. Sedende playing poorly. So Ellis Harrison will get a run up front. Barkas is on a yellow card too. So I'm going to bring on Bandera. Last sub with 15 left. We've dropped to balanced. And he's just taken the sting out the game a little bit. We've not got a massive attacking threat. But neither have Stockport. And with 5 to go, we might be holding on for a win in our EFL debut. How much time has been added on? 4 minutes. And we're going to go for the time wasting. You all know the drill at 1-0 up. So often it works for us. Now let's hope this isn't the day where it fails. We're going to drop Turner to support. We're going to keep Brunt on support too. And we're going to drop those wingers back because you all know how I feel about the last 4 minutes. Let's get ourselves as deep as possible. 4-1-4-1. Defensive shape is crucial. Let's time waste our backsides off. Let's be disciplined. Let's slow it down, hold our shape. There's no need to score again. 1-0 is perfectly enough for us. Clean sheets and defensive solidity is what this season's going to be built on. And just look at Capecqua's rating again. If he can do that all year, we'll be absolutely fine. Might need a partner alongside him. But Hemel Hempstead Town win at Stockport. We didn't deserve it on the balance of play. But we were brilliant defensively. We were brilliant going forward. We were ruthless when we needed to be on the counter-attack. And that, after a very solid summer, is the perfect start to the EFL season. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. But at the moment, staying up looks a real possibility. We'll drink it in that moment. After the first day of the season, we are 5th and in the playoff places. It won't last long, so make the most of it. Let's go and have a look at the schedule. We have got Plymouth in the League Cup first round. We've got local sides in Stevenage, Wimbledon, and then weirdly Bournemouth under-23s in the EFL Trophy. All 3 of our group games at home apparently. I'm not sure if that's right. Surely one of those 2 senior games should be away. But we're going to be back probably some point towards the end of September just to see how we're settling in. In fact, Barrow were expected to be right down there, weren't they? So that would make sense if we show the games against relegation rivals. Barrow and Scunthorpe were in the next pack to be relegated. So let's show those 2 games at the end of September. They're the games that are going to define our season. The Cups will see reserve sides play. We're trying to build fitness in the squad. But thankfully, the schedule's not quite so bad here. 1 game a week for the most part the first 2 months, aside from cup games, which we don't have to worry about. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on the rest of the season, and you did enjoy that transfer special and brilliant classic 1-0 win at Stockport County, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. We'll be back with more head coach tomorrow, followed by this in 2 days' time. You can catch up with a playlist you may have missed in the eye above, some specials, the football podcast, and of course the Twitch channel for regular live streams too. But a massive thank you for watching. Your continued support as always. It is greatly appreciated. It's a dream start to the EFL season for Hemel Hempstead. We'll be back next time to see if we can follow it up. I'll see you there.